Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds.
Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous two-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month.
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Sunbury Motor Company, Purdy Insurance, and Brewers Outlet. Now from the Sunbury Motor Studio, here's Steve Jones.
This show has all the earmarks to be a disaster. This is the part where you speak. I didn't know if you knew on the air, that's all. I thought that was just, like, oh, man, this show has... Oh, hey, we're here. Oh. See, and I was going to say how great it was to be hanging out with you again. We haven't done this in a while.
No, that wasn't your text. Your text was my day's ruined.
I think that's because... Are you sure you didn't look at that wrong?
I texted you that my day is ruined.
Yes.
You texted back, so is mine.
So is mine. I didn't say it was because of you, though.
Oh. Your first game, you already had it, right?
Yeah, it was a week ago yesterday, actually.
And how it had to be thrilling for you to be back.
It was so much fun to be back, and I got a lot of people come up and ask how I was doing and say some kind words, and it was heartwarming. I really appreciated that. I got a couple of messages along the way as well, so really appreciated that.
How did you handle the ones that said, "Where's the other guy"? All right, so
I didn't even count those as being. I didn't even count those.
Just thought I'd throw that in there. We have Matt Catrillo as the leadoff hitter on today's show.
Yeah, is he at 115? Is that what's up?
Yeah, it's
thereabouts.
I wouldn't worry about it too much. It's you and I just get to sit back and listen to him
and let him roll.
Oh,
you remember we first started doing this? That was me, so I don't have a whole lot of room to talk.
Yeah, you did complain about everything.
I did. I've mellowed out with age.
Well, things happen. Game is Thursday. We actually have a talk show tonight. It's been very confusing for some people because basketball can't do the show tomorrow because they're leaving at 10 in the morning. Football can't do it because they're leaving tomorrow. I'm leaving tomorrow. So somebody, how about Monday? Great. Perfect. Let's go Monday.
So is Joe Putnam following us on Wednesday night?
Yes, Joe Putnam will be with Dick Girardi. Then, because they have the charter, Joe can get back to do women's basketball on Thursday, and then I will be back to do the Sunday game with Oregon in the Jordan Center. Yesterday, not great. You can't be outscored 43-19 from the two lines and win games. It's hard. And they've got to start finding the range from three again. It's not like they don't have good shooters from three. Zach Hicks is he's a terrific 3-point shooter. Puff Johnson can hit it. Freddie DeLeon can hit it. We know that Ace can hit it. And right now they're all collectively not hitting it. DeMarco Dunn. And that's where they are. Now, that's a home game yesterday. Well, you got to find a way to get back on track here, okay? Because you're going to have to win a road game somewhere. They've got Illinois. Illinois won. Illinois took Oregon in Eugene and beat them like 116-77 or some number. It's like, really? And Then went to Washington yesterday and struggled their backsides off. They finally won it. So that game will be in Champaign, 9 o'clock. It's one of the reasons I can't do both. The game is in Champaign at 9 o'clock on Wednesday. I'd have to go from Champaign to Indianapolis or Champaign to Chicago and get the first flight out to Miami. And, of course, you see the weather today. Who knows if suddenly there are cancellations. So, the network was like, you can't do that. I said, okay. I said, I'll do whatever you want. We're good. All right. Take a break. Buckle up. He's moments away.
When car repairs get difficult,
Well, I just don't know.
Me neither.
we get good. Sunbury Motors. More than quality new and used cars, Sunbury Motors specializes in complicated auto repair diagnosis. They can handle intricate repairs and even complete auto body with service open Monday through Friday, 7 till 4. And Sunbury Motors has made simple repairs easy. Maintaining your vehicle is necessary. Finding the time to do it is difficult. Welcome to Sunbury Motors Quick Lane. Just walk in or call ahead. Relax in their remodeled waiting room with Wi-Fi, beverages, and snacks. While Sunbury Motors factory-trained techs take care of your oil change, tire alignments, brakes, and inspections. Quick Lane, 6:30 to 6 Monday through Friday, Saturday 6:30 till 2. Sunbury Motors, Ford and Hyundai, North 4th Street, Sunbury. And Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf. We take the out of auto repair.
Hi.
This half hour being brought to you by Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf, online at sunburymotors.com. Ford, Kia, Hyundai, best in new inventory, great pre-owned inventory. With the Sunbury Motors guarantee, terrific service department, whether it's quick lane, inspections, routine, difficult, they handle it all at Sunbury Motors, 4th Street in Sunbury. Sunbury Motors Kia, routes 11 and 15 in Hummel's Wharf, and online at sunburymotors.com. The person that has replaced Kevin Herr as America's angry man, Matt Catrillo. Welcome, sir.
It is good to hear the Kevin Herr's voice, the suit's voice back, though, I must say.
It's good to be here. It's good to be anywhere, quite honestly.
Oh, I'm sure.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I mean, prison would be great.
Wow,
Which
are you a
leads me
ray
to
of
this
sunshine?
quick story I wanted to share with you first, Steve, before we get into everything else that we have a lot to catch up on, in fact. So I'm watching the Eagles-Washington game a couple weeks ago, and the Eagles. This is when the Eagles were looking pretty good. They already had the 7-0 lead, and I'm changing John Paul's diaper, and poop got onto my Jalen Hurts jersey. And I yelled at him. I said, "You better not be a bad omen for the rest of this game, because we're off to a pretty good start." And lo and behold, we all know what happened in that game, and obviously Jalen Hurts got hurt in that game. So I officially pledged to my wife that I am no longer changing any diapers during the Eagles game for fear of bad omen, and I'm sticking to that plan.
Diapergate.
Yes, Diapergate, exactly.
So
That's
you
what I blame the Eagles' loss to Washington on. But luckily, things have been better since then, and hopefully Jalen Hurts comes back this week.
So you screamed at a 1-year-old. What are you doing? What are you doing? I mean, this is how you build them up. I mean, no wonder those three.
He's 15 months now. He should know the drill by now.
Come on, those 3 kids are a mess. Oh, goodness gracious, a poor kid. All right, little Luke, who's the most articulate of the group.
That is correct.
Daddy's always mad.
Listen, Matt, take it from me. You know, as they grow up, you're going to see that there's talent there or there's not talent there. Now, I'm not going to say what happened in my situation, but I know it. Well, let's just leave it at that.
I'll just take the advice and run with it.
He's already got them hitting off a tee, and the entire college fund banks on whether this kid can hit a grounder between short and third.
See, I was a little bit different.
Luke's eligible this year for tee ball. We're still convincing him to play, but Mark's got another year yet, so we have a whole another summer to get ready.
Yeah, you see, it was a little different for me. It was you got to learn to catch the ball if you want to go to college. Needless to say. But,
See, there you go. Exactly.
So, what's on your mind besides poop?
Well, I am very much looking forward to Thursday night. I am pumped, Steve Jones. This is going to be one heck of a game that you're going to be calling on Thursday night.
Yeah, I noticed. It's a national semifinal, right? At this point, you're only going to play good. And Notre Dame is a terrific team, and we'll talk to Tony later. But guess what Notre Dame's situation is? They're playing a terrific team. Should be a fun game.
Yeah, exactly right. And they're two very evenly matched teams, both really good defenses. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game where it's going to be definitely hard to run the football for either side. So I think it's going to come down to whose quarterback can make a play, whose offensive line can protect the most, and we'll see how it plays out. It's good. I cannot wait for this game. It's going to be a heck of a matchup. And if Ohio State wins their game against Texas, it's going to be a fantastic national championship game, one way or the other. And I think they do smoke Texas pretty good because Texas does not look good these last couple of weeks. And Ohio State, I was just stunning what they did to Oregon in the Rose Bowl. So that's kind of how I see these last couple of games playing out here.
Well, then no need to watch after that.
I just wonder.
No, it's still going to be worth watching regardless.
No, Matt. The important question is, what's in the swag bag for the Orange Bowl?
Oh, geez, I don't know. Usually these are like $500 gift cards or whatever they are for them to.
Still not as good as the year you went to the Fiesta Bowl and it was sponsored by PlayStation.
True, but I think right now a lot of it's called, what the heck do they call them? Gift suites. Well, for the most part, the gift suites are a card. They can spend it, do whatever they want with it. There's still some artificial limit they put on it. It's like, the dude can make $1.7 million in NIL, right. But there's the NCAA limits to the gift suite. So I know they got that from the Fiesta Bowl, among other things. Media-wise, actually, we got a pretty nice Fiesta Bowl sweatshirt. Which I never went to the media room once because I got in at 3:30 in the morning. Brian Tripp and those guys picked up my pass and the stuff because I had no choice. But yeah, that's what we got. It's nice, really nice, as a matter of fact.
PIAA didn't give you that, Matt, when you did state playoff games, did they?
That would be a no.
No, I didn't
no.
think so, yeah.
No, see, this is what you don't understand. It's what Matt gave them, a check.
Oh, yeah, well, that's true. You're very right about that.
Yes. I mean, again, we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah.
Because that is another topic for another day.
Yep. Yeah. I'm just glad you understood to get out of the press box here before Saturday.
I thought about making the trip there just to see that, and then I realized how early in the morning I'd have to leave, and I'm like, yep, not going to happen.
It was cold. Chris Wheeler sent me a text. I'll read the exact text to you that he sent me. Where's Wheels here? Had a lot of texts lately, mostly from you asking for tickets. So he said, so did you feel a little sad when the press box went down, or you were like me when they blew up the vet? And I said, like you at the vet.
Yeah.
No, people, I think people thought I was going to be nostalgic about this. And when I left the booth on the 21st, after the SMU game, turned around and looked back, and I said, bye, booth. That's literally all I did. I said, bye, booth. And Jack and I left. And somebody from OPP came up to me at the Penn game 8 days later and said, hey, did you take anything from there? I said, no, I never even thought about it. He goes, you want your chair? I said, geez, I love my chair. That'd be great. I didn't know I could take it. He says, oh, yeah, because I signed whatever. They asked me to sign my spot, and I did. And he said, I'll get back to you when you come back for the Thursday game with Northwestern. He did. I guess they threw the chair in salvage. No, because they did, because it wasn't marked.
It wasn't a
Like
plan.
that.
All right.
Right, it wasn't planned ahead of time. That's the reason why. You know,
I was going to ask if you took the chair. That would have been the one thing I would have thought of if for you.
Yeah, I mean, sat in that chair how many years? But it would have been nice. First of all, it's comfortable as heck.
Yeah.
But I didn't even think about it. It's just that's just the way I am. I didn't think about that stuff. You know. Meanwhile, I mean, I guess Matt was going through, and if it wasn't nailed down, it was like, hey, I think John, Paul, Mark, and Luke would like all these things. Like, it was really I kind of felt like I was a Filene's basement watching you walk out.
Of course. Who wouldn't want the chair?
So
that's going to be worth at least $100 on eBay.
Do it. I spent two spring games and 2 or 3 regular season games in that press box. It was always the same spot. I always picked the same spot, right on the 50, kind of like on the halfway down where it splits. And I always sat in between Mike Gross of L&P and Frank Bodani, New York Daily Record.
Good people.
Oh yeah, they were some of the first people I met when I used to work in Lebanon. So we'd always reminisce on those days when I sat between those two guys. Yeah. Absolutely.
Oh yeah, that's nice.
Was there a bottle of Perrier left in the booth? That's what I want to know.
Pamplemousse, we drank it all.
No. When I was there, Jack brought Perrier.
No, it's Pamplemousse now.
Is it Pamplemousse now?
Yes, it is. Pamplemousse. Had that at the Fiesta Bowl.
You should have left a couple of grapes in there just for old time's sake.
Nope. Grapes got tossed. and may have gone up in the explosion. Actually, what they did was it was the bottom they blew up, and everything else just fell back in the rubble.
I did see the video, yeah. That was quite something.
No, it was cool. And then when it was done, everybody applauded and it died down. I said, now where do I work?
You're rebuilding it, right?
Now you got Hard Rock Stadium and the BJC.
Yeah, Hard Rock will be interesting. It's a lousy broadcast location. Nobody cares about that, but it is. Wes Durham, who does the Falcons, sent me pictures. He says, Jonesy, 32 out of 32. Like, okay, well, my job's to do the best with it I can. So
it's no worse than trying to do a football game at a baseball stadium.
I mean, the Pinstripe Bowl, we were right beyond the uprights.
Yeah.
Washington's the worst one, where the Commanders play. I mean, I think you've heard Merrill Reese and I talk about that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Right. So after Green Bay knocks off Philadelphia this weekend, how touchy is this going to be for you?
Well, it'll definitely be very touchy because I expect the Eagles to win this game 27-14. Green Bay is banged up. They're not playing well. Christian Watson's now out for the year. Who knows about Jordan Love's health? It would be a massive failure if the Eagles were to lose this game on Sunday, and I don't expect it to happen.
Is Barkley going to play?
Yes, because now it's a playoff game. Yes, this is why the Eagles should have sat him, and they made the right decision to sit him. Yes, he will play this game. He will be fine. He will have a big game.
Is Aaron Judge playing?
Well, no, because he doesn't play football.
Yeah, but, I mean, if he did, it's the playoffs, so we wouldn't have noticed him.
Yes, he would probably have a couple of drop passes. He would pull what Devontae Smith did a couple weeks ago.
Oh, how about George Pickens? Oh,
I don't want to talk about it.
You can't talk that much and have that kind of performance. Oh,
or that
mercy.
Too. Yeah, even worse, exactly.
Mercy me.
Gone.
Steelers are done. They're gonna get crushed this weekend.
I think the Ravens do break their playoff streak and get going. But the Steeler offense can't play.
Party time, game time, or just fun time. Doesn't matter what time it is because it's Brewers Outlet time. The beverage supermarket has the area's largest beer selection, imports, microbrews, ciders, and domestics. Pick from over 100 ice-cold 12-packs and dozens of 24-ounce singles. Soda, snacks, hot sauces, fresh roasted peanuts. Make it one-stop party shopping, and don't forget the pickle bar. So whatever you're celebrating or just doing it up, Brewers Outlet, Reagan Street, Sunbury wants to see you. And thank you for your years of patronage.
Bringing you an in-depth look at Penn State sports and more. This is the Steve Jones Show on News Radio 1070 WKOK. The Steve Jones Show is presented by Brewers Outlet, Sunbury Motor Company, and Purdy Insurance. Now from the Sunbury Motor Studio, here's Steve Jones.
Welcome back to the Steve Jones Show. Steve getting ready to make the trip to Miami and the Orange Bowl. Here's a stat for you. This is the first time that Penn State's played in 2 bowl games in the same year. Talk about your obvious stat. That's probably the big one there.
What was that?
The obvious stat. This is the first time Penn State's played in 2 bowl games in this back-to-back.
Okay. There you go.
Now, you could say that Penn State played in 2 bowl games in the same year, in a year where they played on January 1st and then played one of the bowl games before January 1st in the following season. And technically,
well, it's
that
the
would
first
be the
time
same
any of
year.
them have done it because the national championship game is not a bowl game.
That's true. That's true. But, like, if Penn State would have played a New Year's Day game and then played, say, like the Holiday Bowl as they did, like, 20 years ago, that would have been in the same calendar year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I've done that before. Because, like, for example, Penn State played in the Orange Bowl January 3rd, 2006. I'm trying to think. Then they played. I'm trying to think. Oh, they played in the Outback Bowl on New Year's Day 2007 and played in the Alamo Bowl December 29, 2007.
By the way, what is the Outback Bowl now? Is that just gone?
It's called the ReliaQuest Bowl.
Okay, I thought they had a different sponsor for it because I was trying to remember what the Outback Bowl turned into on New Year's Day and couldn't figure it out.
To be honest with you, I had a good time watching bowl games this year. Most of the games were really good. And, in terms of entertainment, I thought the bowl games were entertaining. I'll say this, is that when you are in this position, man, it'd be tough to go back and do one of the other things. Because when you're playing big games with stakes, and every play means something. It's like going to a World Series game and you're sitting there watching the World Series. You know who really suffers during World Series games? Concessionaires. Nobody gets up. Nobody leaves. They're hanging on every single pitch. Right? I mean, Matt doesn't even change diapers.
Especially now.
Oh. All he knows, with all due respect, that little kid spoke for all of us. All right, so, What?
I have a question for you about this game. We were talking about this amongst friends, and actually Chief and I talked about it over the weekend.
Acquaintances?
No, friends. Or at least I think they are. They may feel otherwise, but this matchup to me of the possible matchups in this semifinal is really to me the better of the matchups, because you have a really good running defense going up against an offense that has run the ball quite well. I mean, just from that aspect, I think this will be entertaining.
Look, Notre Dame's their offensive line I like. Big. You know, they can attack you with that offensive line. Love's got a lot of speed. He can run between the tackles. Price, like him a lot. Their receivers are good. I think Guyton's good. Greathouse is good. Collins is good. But they don't have what I would call a threatening receiver. I think Evans, the tight end, is very good. Leonard, when he picks his spots to run, is outstanding in running. Throwing the ball, he's a good thrower of the football. He's not great, but he's good. Okay? Not mediocre, but good. Defensively, their front's really good. Now, they don't have Riley Mills. That's a loss. I mean, he led the team and still does in tackles for losses and sacks. Howard Cross is very good. Young doesn't start, but he can be an impact player, as can Tuiamaka. Kaiser, the linebacker, that's another really good football player, knows how to play. Secondary I like a lot. Watts is terrific. Clark is really good. Moore, 15, really good. I mean, it's a good, solid defense. You're talking about 31 takeaways this year. They're plus 18 giveaway takeaway. They have 158 points off of takeaways. I mean, it's so important. Now, Notre Dame, it's interesting, all four teams in this final all use the transfer portal, but all four are judicious in their use of the transfer portal. And don't give me look at Ohio State. I mean, look at Ohio State. Buka's homegrown, Tate's homegrown, Smith's homegrown, G. Scott, the tight end's homegrown, Trevion Henderson's homegrown. That offensive line, except for one position, two positions among the starters, the current group's all homegrown. Yeah, the two guys that are out there are transfers. JTT, Sawyer, Williams, they're all homegrown guys. Okay? Cody Simon, homegrown guy. I mean, now, did they go out and get Caleb Downs and Judkins, the running back? Yeah, they did. No question. Will Howard, the quarterback? Yeah, they did. But but again, it's mostly a homegrown group. Texas, same way. Texas the same way. Weisner's homegrown. Blue was homegrown. Now, did they go and get Isaiah Bond from Alabama? Yes. The receivers are more like Golden, for example, is a transfer from Houston. Bond from Alabama. I think they got one from UTSA, too. Their offensive line's all homegrown. Defense, I'd say 75% of it is homegrown. Notre Dame, mostly homegrown. I mean, they've got some transfers in there, no question. Harrison, the kickoff return guy from Marshall, who's also a wide receiver. Transfer. Leonard, the quarterback's a transfer. Bo Collins is a transfer from Clemson, the wide receiver.
Steve, we got Doug from Wellsboro on the line and wants to chat.
Doug, thanks for saving the show. I was looking for somebody intelligent to talk to.
I called in and I was stunned to find Kevin Herr on the phone.
Yeah, so was I.
On my chair.
So did I.
By the way, if you're waiting, Todd has a child that is sick. That's why he's not here today.
Well, okay. A couple questions about the game.
Yep.
Notre Dame likes to blitz a lot. Boise, when they started blitzing, they were confusing Nick Dawkins and the two guards, and they were putting three guys on Nick Dawkins and Nick Singleton. Mm-hmm. Was there just nowhere to go with the ball? Was there no outlet, no dump off? Drew took a couple sacks on that. We couldn't see on the TV. Was there any place else he could go with the ball?
You need to go to your hot read on that. and on one of them they covered up the hot read. It was a really good scheme. Boom, they blitzed and they covered. But there are also other times when they blitzed where they got caught. It doesn't seem as obvious until you actually look back and go, oh, they were blitzing on the play and they got caught. And so Penn State just needs to be more consistent on that, because when they did catch them, they caught them pretty good. And then there are other times where to Boise State's credit, they just ran the kitchen sink and they got there. Notre Dame blitzes, but you've got a lot more time to get ready for this, and I think that really helps.
Is the key on defense stopping Riley Leonard from running on third down and getting first downs?
Yeah, you got to keep him from running the ball. Again, they don't have. I mean, they'll complete passes, but they don't have a threatening guy in the pass game. They just don't, and that's why they need him to run. He has actually scored 15 touchdowns rushing this season, and that's been a big part. Against Indiana, he did not run that often. He didn't need to. They kind of got to the lead and they sat on it. Had to run more against Georgia. It made a big difference. But you look at what Notre Dame did offensively. Doug, they didn't have a drive more than 42 yards in the game against Georgia. I don't think people realize, like, when you got to sit back and look at it, they have not been banging out long drives. I mean, the same thing in the Indiana game. They didn't bang out long drives. Again, same story that they've used all year. They get a takeaway, and they get points. Short field, make the short field work for them. That was the Georgia game. Longest drive was 42 yards. They only scored one offensive touchdown of the game.
Yeah, I get that, but Riley Leonard scares me. I mean, he's going to extend some drives.
Yeah, I mean, look, he scares me. He wouldn't scare me like Jalen Hurts. I mean, I think he's quick. I think he has really good eyes. The way he sees things in the running game, but he doesn't have quite the same eyes in the passing game, right? And that's something that you got to see. But I mean, but you're talking about, you have to make sure you contain him on the 5 plays he's really going to run, and then go from there.
Yeah, that's a good point. Al Golden used to wear a tie whenever he coached at Temple in honor of Joe. Yep. I don't think he'll ever do it, but I wish he'd wear a tie for this game.
Yeah, he's an assistant coach now, and has done a great job with that defense. I mean, not just a good job. He's done a great job with that defense. I know a lot of people talk about Mike Denbrock and what he's done with the offense. The Notre Dame offense is good. Al's defense is excellent. And you know what? It's one thing about it. I still get Christmas cards from Al, so it's like he always is trying.
Really?
Oh yeah, I do. Oh yeah, he stays in touch. He stays in touch. Yeah, it's great. No, he's good family, good people, good family.
Kevin, how's IndyCar looking this year?
Oh, the show's over. The show is over. Doug, what did you do? Doug! Doug, we were on a roll. We were talking about things that people liked. Now you got people just, all right, what's on the music station? Come on.
We need IndyCar preview for 2025.
I'll be honest with you. I've been disappointed in IndyCar the last couple of years. There's too many road courses now, too many street circuits, not enough speed, and guys are changing teams more than the college football portal. Other than that, I think it's great.
All right. Well, thanks for your time
is
today,
he
guys.
done? Is he done?
Bye.
Doug, what? I mean, you decided. I mean, right now I need to go to the hospital. You want to know why? Okay, I feel like I need to surgically have the knife taken out of my back.
All right, we'll talk to you later.
Thanks, Doug.
Take care, Doug.
All right. Yeah, Gerard Mayo out with the Patriots. Doug Peterson out with the Jaguars. I'm trying to think. Let me take a quick look here and see if anybody else has been fired. Obviously, you're still working. What?
Well, show's not over yet.
That's true. Look, let's see. Anybody? I think those are the only two so far. You know, they're coordinators that lost jobs, which you feel badly for. Brian Daboll and Joe Shane, the head coach and general manager of the Giants, are going to stay on. The Mara family says they're losing patience. Really? Really?
Shocking.
What they're saying.
You know, I saw an interesting stat. I think it was yesterday, that the Steelers' record is the same as it was when they had an offensive coordinator that most of us disliked.
Well, there's no difference. I mean,
I agree.
Look, you cannot do. Personnel makes all the difference in the world. It makes all the difference in the world. It doesn't matter whether it's Matt Canada or it's Arthur Smith. If you don't, first of all, let's start with this. Their first-round pick never played a down this year. Hurt. Right? So Dan Moore had to play more at left tackle. And I'm not picking on Dan Moore. Please,
but he struggled down the stretch.
No, but I'm not picking on him. I'm just saying it's an issue. Okay. And Trey Hendrickson Saturday night was in the backfield all the time. Your quarterback, Russell Wilson, is experienced but has limits. You only have one receiver that can take the top off, and he's somebody that scares his own team as much as other teams.
Oh, you're not wrong there.
Okay? What are you supposed to do?
Well, and the running backs, the running backs haven't been great either, especially Harris.
Yeah, but you can't wave a magic wand on this stuff. You just can't. It's difficult. And I'll never forget sitting in there. It was the night of a Thursday night talk show. And we used to do it with Joe in the conference room adjacent to the locker room, the bottom floor. And there were a couple plays up on the board that were in there. And Joe came in, and we were in a commercial break. And he said, "Hey, Steve, how you doing?" He looked over. He goes, He says, "Look at that." He says, "Steve, you want to know the key to the success of this play?" I said, "Sure." He says, "I need to know the name of the X and the name that is attached to the O. As soon as I know the two names, I can tell you how successful the play is going to be." That's the whole ball game. You can have all the greatest concepts on the face of the earth. That's why, I always make fun of the people in the parking lot. It's a relatively few, okay, 5%. But they start talking to everybody in the tailgate about the scheme. Well, number one, you don't know the scheme. Okay, I didn't. I looked around at practice. You appear to be a no-show. Okay, and then they'll talk about scheme, play calling, things like that, and I'll sit there and go. I'm thinking to myself, they can't run the play you're talking about because there's one of the guys that can't run the play. Because I've seen the play run. They had to take it out because one guy can't run it. There's certain things the Steelers, I'm sure, want to do, but couldn't do it because of some limitations with their offensive line and limitations with their wide receivers. I mean, that's a big part of this.
Well, let's be honest. The guy that should get the MVP is Boswell. I mean, he's the one that got them.
Oh, Boswell's great.
He's the one that got the Steelers to the playoffs because they would not have won half of those games that they won if it weren't for his leg.
Right. I mean, there's no question. But you know what? The Eagles could have said the same thing about Elliott last year.
No, that's true.
Well, I know. That's why I said it. But that's, to me, that is it. You can have mediocre schemes and play calls and great personnel, and you can foul it up. Or you can have some of the, for all we know, Arthur Smith's made some great play calls, and guess what? Somebody missed a block, somebody did something, it's all fouled up. You just don't know unless you're actually there in the meetings and going through the video with them as to what's right, what's wrong, because it's all about as Joe said, I want to know the name that is associated with the X, and I want to know the name that's associated with the O. As soon as I know those names, I'll be able to tell you the potential success of the play.
But the big difference between the two coordinators, it may be personnel, and I'm not going to debate that, but the big difference between the two coordinators is this year they're not pulling plays out of the back of the playbook on 3rd down and 20.
Yeah, I mean, look. Look at the defensive coordinator, okay? He's got Hayward. He's got Watt. He's got Highsmith. He's got Patrick Queen. He's got some limitations in the secondary. And you're having Joey Porter Jr. back. I thought Joey played pretty well the other night. Right? But he's got more to work with over there. And, I mean, that's a... It's always about personnel because, again, you can scheme it up any way you want. If you don't have the people, you can't do it. Sometimes I know it sounds ridiculous, but sometimes it's that simple. You know me, I keep things pretty simple. I'm telling you, it's the scheme. Like, I can't run the stuff you're talking about. They have a couple people that can't do it. And boy, I'll tell you, you know what the dream is? When you sit down to scheme. Like, let's take Andy Koltonicki with Tyler Warren. Okay, let's just take that case right there. It's incredible how they use Tyler Warren. Well, you want to know why Andy can dial up Tyler Warren in a variety of situations? Because it's Tyler Warren. Notre Dame can't do that with Mitchell Evans, and I think Evans, by the way, is a very good tight end. Please, Mitchell Evans in Notre Dame is a very good tight end, but they can't do the things with him Penn State does. They're different players. Andy can be more creative with his tight end than the vast majority of people in the country because it's Tyler Warren. That's really clever. Well, it's clever because he's okay? Because it's who it is. Andy wasn't thinking about using him like that back in April. It wasn't until May when they sat down to recruit somebody else. They said, "No, I really like this guy. You should see his basketball tape." And one of the other recruiting people said, "Oh, that's nothing. That's nothing compared to Warren's basketball tape." And Andy looked over and said, "Warren's basketball tape?" He said, "Yeah." He said, "Can I see that?" They said, "Sure." After Andy took a look at Warren's basketball tape, he looked over and went, "Whoa, there are some things we can do with this guy." We'll come back with more. Okay, here's one for you. Here's a great trivia question for everybody. Why does Tyler Warren wear number 44?
Youth football number.
Nope. Now never saw this guy play because he wasn't born yet, but his family, of course, living in Virginia all those years, John Riggins.
Oh, that makes sense, yeah.
Yep.
I didn't think about that.
So after we found out about it, Jack Ham called John Riggins. And Jack got John to sign him a 44 jersey.
That's awesome.
Isn't that cool? That's really cool. Things you learn on this show. Doesn't mean much to the result of the game, but just a little interesting side story. Back with more in a moment. Neil Coulong next half hour here on News Radio 1070 WKOK.